In this video, I want to talk about the new HTTP package in Go 1.22, and that's what you see on my screen from the Go blog, routing enhancements for Go 1.22. So what is new in Go 1.22? There was already an HTTP multiplexer available in the net HTTP package, but that one was very basic. I should start with what is actually a multiplexer. And I think Gorilla Mux explains it very well. Gorilla Mux is an alternative Golang package for multiplexing. So Gorilla Mux implements a request router and dispatcher for matching incoming requests to their respective handler. So it's an HTTP handler. It starts an HTTP server, and then you start an HTTP server in Golang, and then you can use Gorilla Mux to route requests. The same you can do with the net HTTP package. Previously, though, you could only do very simple requests routings with the built-in HTTP package. So that's why a lot of people used something like Gorilla Mux. The moment that you want to do some more complex routing, because complex routing wouldn't be possible with the built-in router in Golang itself. Ginjonic, the Gin web framework, is another example, another very popular package that you can also use for routing. So here's how you install it. You have to download, you have to go get these packages. Either you use Gorilla Mux or Ginjonic. And then here's an example how to use it, how to start a server, how to make a simple route. But now that we have this new routing enhancements, you might not have to use a third-party package anymore. It's still possible that you want to use it because there's still a lot of features in those Gorilla or Ginjonic packages that you might want to use. But if you just want to have a simple router and you want to have a little bit more complex routing rules, then you could stick with the built-in handler. So what is new? Since Go 22, you can actually use wildcards. So everything after posts will be routed to the handle post2 handler, and then you'll get access to this ID variable. To get access to this ID variable, you can use the rec path value of ID. So I'll show you this in an example. So this is new, this post ID, which means that in a previous version, it would just not use the wildcard. You would literally have to go to this URL /posts and then curly brackets ID to make it work. So it wouldn't be a wildcard. You just would be able to use curly brackets in the routing path. So that is something that now doesn't work anymore. You cannot use curly brackets anymore in the paths. So now if you would use curly brackets, it would actually be replaced as a wildcard. But I don't think anyone would use curly brackets in paths. That's why the Golang developers have decided to just make this breaking change. If you would still need curly brackets in your routing, you could turn this off, this new feature. But that's only if you have some legacy code and you don't want to break your legacy code until you have made a fix. So let's try this out. Let's start with an example. Let's go to the HTTP package. And here we have an example server. I'm going to HP Mux example, create a new project. Start terminal. Go mod init HP Mux example. Creates the Go mod file. I'm gonna create a main.go. Package main. Found the main. And let's start with our example code. Let's just have one handler. Slash hello. Go run our example folder. And then we should be able to curl localhost 8080 once it's compiled and once it actually runs. Page not found. That's because I didn't specify slash hello. And now we have hello. So what is new? You can say hello ID, for example. Let's rerun our example. Hello still works. Hello test. So now we actually have a wildcard right here. But actually we don't see a difference. So let's change our printf to make sure that we are in the correct route. So if we go to hello and then an ID 1, 2, 3, 4, then it prints wildcard test. If you would just go to hello, it says hello, then we are in this route. So this way of using wildcards is new in the NetHTTP package. So if you just want to use wildcards, you don't need to use an external package anymore. You can just now use the built-in Golang NetHTTP package. But how do we read our ID? So we can say here ID equals our request. This is our request, r dot. Let's have a look. What function we have to use? The function is called path value. Our path value returns the value for the named path wildcard in the serve mux pattern that matched the request, or an empty string if it didn't match, or if there's no wildcard. So for example, let's redesign this a bit. Instead of having an anonymous function, I'm going to call this handler. And this is also going to be our handler. Now we just have to write this handler function. So handler equals a function. My VS Code seems to be a bit stuck. I'm just going to cancel this. It's probably because I didn't complete this line. Path value. So what path value are you going to look for? For ID. And then so we have the handler. And then two functions, one with a wildcard and one without, to see how that makes a difference. I'm going to save again now. My VS Code seems to be a bit slow today, so I'm just going to make the changes that I need to before these red lines will disappear. So we have the wildcard test, the URL path, and then ID is and a string, and we're gonna pass ID. Now we're all good. So what did I do? I'm passing this handler function to both a function that doesn't use a wildcard and one that uses a wildcard. So if we hit hello, ID is empty string. Just like the block explained us, that if we are not hitting a route with a wildcard, it will be an empty string because it doesn't have anything to show. Hello, 1234 is my ID. Wildcard test, the path is hello 1234 and the ID is 1234. So this is how you then extract the IDs. Just like this request path value is the request. The argument is the ID here that you want to get. And then you can use this variable in your code, in your HTTP handler. So this is a very simple difference in Go 1.22, but that means that for some smaller projects that you don't need a lot of functionality, but you need the wildcard functionality, you don't need any of the external packages. You can just use the net HTTP package, because now it supports a little bit more capabilities, the wildcard capability, so that you don't need an external package.